Hello everyone, and welcome to the beginning of week 4, which is officially our first week online. So for this week, I've sent you an email with instructions for what assignments I'd like you to do. They're in the order that I'd like you to do them in the weekly schedule, and also I talk about that in the email. So one of the most important things for you to do this week is your media information checklists. At the end of this week, everybody should have 2 of these checklists filled out, and that's going to give you the research information that you need to write your Essay 1 thesis, which you're going to post in the discussion board under Discussions. So really quickly, if we go to Assignments, the media checklist, media literacy checklist, is right here under the Assignments tab. Also, the What is a Thesis handout is something you should be looking at this week. So those assignments are here under the Assignments tab. After you open the Media Literacy Checklist, you're going to see a Word document that looks like this. Basically, this checklist is a way for you to learn to read websites. So this is something we normally would have done together in the computer lab. But now I need you to take the 2 websites that you've found that are sharing the same news story, and I want you to fill out one checklist for each website. So you'll have 2 of these done at the end of the week. This checklist helps you read the website so that you can tell 2 main things. 1, is this a legitimate news site? 2, who are the people behind this site? And what are their interests? Why have they created this website that I'm looking at? So that's the main thing that the Media Literacy Checklist is going to help you do. I'm going to walk you through answering these questions using the CNN main website, because we all know that's a legitimate news site. If you end up with a non-legitimate news site, so if some of this information on this checklist is not there, that's okay. As long as you've looked for it and you know it's not there, that's something you'll talk about in your essay. And I'm going to put up a sample Essay 1 next week that you can look at to give you an example of how to write about the information that you're going to put in this checklist. But for now, all you have to do this week is fill this checklist out twice for both websites. So I'm going to walk you through doing that. The very first thing that you should put up on number 1 is the URL, or the web address. The web address for websites is always right up here at the top, cnn.com. So that's what I would put in number 1. Website title, and I say it's typically in the upper left-hand corner. If we look on CNN, there is an ad up here, but up at the top left-hand corner it says CNN. That's the title of the website. For number 3, this can be tricky. Who is the sponsor of the website? And I tell you in the instructions to look at the bottom fine print for a copyright year. So if we go back to CNN.com, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom typically, and since there's a lot of ads, sometimes it could take you a while to get to the bottom of the website. But if we look here at the bottom, the copyright symbol, which looks like a C with a circle around it, this was copyrighted in 2020. That means this year someone renewed the copyright for this website. That's a good sign because it shows that the website is being updated. Somebody cares. And it's been updated by Cable News Network, which is CNN. So we know CNN is the sponsor of this website. They own the copyright for this website. Number 4, what year was the website created? And again, the copyright year. So this website was probably created before 2020, but it's been updated in 2020. So that's the year that I would put for number 4. Has the website been updated lately? That's the same answer for this website, right? So some websites will have a created year, which you would put in number 4. Some websites haven't been updated in years. If you look at the copyright, it'll say something like, 2003 instead of 2020. Whatever copyright year the website has, you can use for number 4. And then number 5, you're looking for a last updated. So we know that the website was updated in 2020. If I go to a particular news story, I can check what day this news story was created, March 16th, 2020, and that will give me a better indication of when the last time information was added to this website. Some stories might even have somewhere in the story where it says last updated. So any of those dates will work for number 4 and number 5. So what we're interested in, right, is the year the website was updated or created. When was information last added to that website? Now, number 6, does the website have an about page? So that can be in 2 different places on websites. Sometimes at the top of the website in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a tab called About Us. That is the tab that you would click on that would tell you information about the website. For CNN, that information is actually at the bottom of the website. So if we again scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see here there's a little tab About Us, and that's going to give us information about the website. The website's mission, what are they trying to accomplish, and sometimes even information about the reporters that submit stories to CNN. So this is a good way to tell if a website is legitimate. If they have an About Us, not always, because sometimes you read the About Us and it sounds really strange, but very often the About Us is the mission of the website and then the credentials of that website. How long have they been a news website? Do the people who contribute to this news site have degrees, right? Are they journalists? So that information could all be found under the About Us tab usually. If not, I'm going to show you some other places where you could find that information. So does it have an About page? I would answer yes for this one. If so, state in your own words what the website is about. So I would take their mission and I would write it in my own words. About a sentence. Does the page list an author? So again, you're going to be working with a specific news story. So if you go to a specific news story, you want to see in that news story, does the news story list an author? So this one does. It says the analysis is by Stephen Collinson, and you can even click on it. Has his picture. You can click on this and get his credentials. So that's another way to find out who is this person writing this news story and are they an actual reporter. So this looks good. This does have an author. I can click on his name and I can get information about him. Sometimes on a non-legitimate website, if I click on the name of the person, I might come up with nothing. I might come up with an error page, or I might come up with what looks like a very sketchy web page. If that's the case, then I would just note that in my media literacy checklist, right? But this, Stephen Collinson has his own website attached to this. That's a pretty good sign that he's an actual reporter. But we could keep doing more research if we were really interested. So does the page list an author for the story? Yes. If so, write their name. So I would write Stephen Collinson, and any information that I would get on his website about his credentials, his degree, how long he's been a reporter, how many different places has he written for, that kind of information. Does the author seem like an expert? Again, I would look at Stephen's webpage and I would say, does it list a degree from a real university? Has he been a reporter for a long period of time, right? He might be a new reporter. That doesn't make him not an expert, but the longer you've been a reporter, the more information you have, right? So this checklist says list any degrees or credentials for the author, so I would do that here. Does the website appear professional? Now this is going to be your opinion, but when you go to the website, does it look like an actual news website? Sometimes you'll end up on a few web pages that really look very poorly put together. And that's your first indication that this is not a legitimate news site. So does the website appear professional? I would say yes. Why? Again, it's CNN, and I know they're a legitimate news site, and plus their website has working links, it has pictures, it has multiple stories on one site. I can go back to the main page. It's got these great sections at the top of the web page, US, world politics, so I know that they do reporting in a lot of different areas. So all of that is a pretty good indication that this is a legitimate website. Does the website have working links? Again, we just checked that when we clicked on the author's name, and yes, it does. But I could check the rest of the story and see if other links in the story also go where they're claiming to go. That's always a good indication that something is a legitimate news story. Where's the news story you're interested in? Is it a main story or off to the side? So this is another way to tell if a website is pretty much just trying to make money from ads. So CNN does have ads. We're not saying that a website can't have ads. But if we scroll down, the majority of the page is news stories. And every news story that we click on goes to an actual story that is the main story on its page. So that's something we're interested in. If the story was off to the side, very small, and there were a lot of ads on this page, then I might be suspicious. Is this a legitimate news site, or are they just trying to get me to come to this site to show me ads, right? So this story, although my website is being a little wonky here, this story is a real news story. It takes up most of the page. There are ads off to the side, but the story is the main thing on the page, and that's what I'm looking for. So back to the checklist. Where's the news story? It's a main.
You understand this question has been terrifying me for 5 years.
It is a main story. Sorry for the pop-up there.
So this is a new family dining concept.
But there are ads, but they are off to the side, right?
What does that mean?
How many advertisements are on the website? So again, if a website is a legitimate website, it will have some ads. But hopefully those ads would be off to the side or at the bottom of the page where they're not going to interfere with your ability to read the story. To a website that is all ads, and your news story is somewhere like off to the side, then you want to be suspicious of that website. So I would put that information here in number 12. And that's the media literacy checklist, 12 questions designed to help you get the information about this website and about your story that you're going to need to think about the motivations of the website. So for Essay 1, I'm asking you to think about why is this story being reported either similarly or differently on these two websites? And knowing who owns the website, what their mission is, if it's a real website, is it a legitimate news site, this information is going to help you make that argument for your Essay 1 thesis. So I'm going to end it there. But if anybody runs into any trouble, needs any help, just post your questions on the Help I Have a Question form under the discussion board post, and me or your classmates will help you answer questions if you run into any trouble filling out the sheet. I will see you guys for week 5 videos, and have a great rest of your week. Just stay healthy.